I guess now it'd be good.
Hi, I'm here with Ronnie Reeferseed. How are you doing today, Ronnie?
Just fine, thank you, sir.
Well, thanks for meeting with me today. What have you been up to the last couple of days?
It's been so exciting. Just today, here with you, actually, we were exploring the neighborhood and sharing the love and joy of Dr. Ron Paul, who's been, of course, completely blacklisted by the lame scheme media, and how the sin of omission. They just want to make sure we don't even know he's there. We can't vote for him if we don't know he's there. But he's winning, and it's so very exciting. And virtually everybody we talked with was pretty enthusiastic, and things are looking up. And by the way, last night I was downtown on 6th Street with all those partying people and proudly parading my Ron Paul signs, and had positive interactions with virtually everybody I talked with. And short of a couple, you know, there's bound to be a few, but just very minor. And everybody was so enthusiastic, and I've been doing this for years. This is the most, undoubtedly, the most enthusiastic crowd of Ron Paul supporters out of all those partying Halloween people. Not everybody was interested in talking about it, but several were, and it was very enthusiastic and invigorating.
And can you tell me a little bit more? What was the scene like down there? I know it's kind of a party scene. It's Halloween, people in costume, very festive. What else was going on that night? Could you tell me about it?
Yeah, when I got there, Heather Fazio was there, and they were, the tag people were spreading the news about very important. We've got a flyer right in there about it, about the illegal, tyrannical blood draw that our city has been experiencing, supposedly to help people not drive drunk, but they're taking our rights and taking blood from people. And the vampire cops is what they called it. They had a vampire cops kind of demonstration, so I witnessed them. Then I went off on my own carrying my Ron Paul sign to mix with the crowd and make sure more and more people saw my stuff, and they at least read my signs and had, like I said, positive reactions pretty much all night long. And it was very exciting in that when I walk around, they're kind of forced to read my signs. In other words, they might not really pay attention, generally speaking, all the time, but when it's kind of like a something new for them to do. Everybody else is in full costume. Some people even say, "Hey, that's a great costume," and it is kind of my daily costume. And so I was able to share fun and joy and love with everybody, and it was just a really enthusiastic crowd. And the police officers were very respectful and helpful to me, and you know, they didn't hurt anybody. And I actually got to meet once again Art Acevedo, our police chief, and Mr. Ott was there, our city councilman. Well, I mean our city manager, and they were there walking towards me on the sidewalk, and we exchanged greetings, and that was a very pleasant experience. And so it was a enthusiastic experience all night long.
So even Police Chief Acevedo and City Manager Ott got some joy and jollies out of seeing you with your Ron Paul sign, and it sounds like they're overall supportive of what you're doing out there.
It was crazy. They were at least accepting of it, or maybe they were used to me. You know, I used to appear at the Austin City Council whenever possible. Now I'm banned, by the way, by delusional Mayor Lee Leffingwell.
Tell me a little bit more about that, Ronnie. Why are you banned from Austin City Hall? That seems pretty harsh.
It's not only harsh, it's very bizarre. I don't understand it at all. I speak the way I normally do. I pronounce my name in my own way, and it kind of evolves over time. And recently I've kind of gone haywire, I guess you could say. But regardless, the mayor doesn't have the right to decide for me how I choose to pronounce my name.
What do you mean you've gone haywire?
Well, I happened to see the mayor this one particular day with you, actually, going to various meetings, and when I introduced myself as Ronnie Reeferseed, I went, and just that one little thing of doing the raspberry just set him off. And so the next time he saw me, which was at the Citizens Communication segment, that very day, he expected me to do that, and he had a couple of cops in the room, and I didn't do that. I didn't actually hack him off, but I just pronounced it like I normally do. He's seen me do it dozens of times, and I've been doing this literally for years at the Travis County Commissioner's Court sessions, introducing myself as Ronnie Reeferseed. You know, it's no big deal. But he just called the cops over and, you know, motioned for them to come over like Mafia Don would do, and they escorted me out of the building, and then they, sure enough, they told me, his bodyguard told me that, by the way, sir, you're banned from this building for a year. And in fact, I got a message today on my telephone from a person named Catherine, who informed me from the city that, yes, by golly, you aren't banned, not only from the city council chambers, but from entering the building for a year. And again, it was for the crime of pronouncing my name, Ronnie Reeferseed, which he doesn't like. Who cares? It's not his choice. You know, it's my life. I get to choose how I pronounce my own name. It's real basic. It's the First Amendment. It's right there in the Constitution, political speech. You know, nobody else has the right to do.
Ronnie, that sounds, from your hearing your side of the story, sounds pretty unfair what they've done to you. What are you going to do, Ronnie, to try to make a difference and to protest this gross abuse against you?
Well, I'm exploring legal options, talking to various knowledgeable people, not excluding you and other helpful individuals, and it really seems to me that they don't have a case, the other side. That is, there's so much in violation of our Constitution, which is, again, the supreme law of the land. Political speech is absolutely granted to you and me, and how I choose to pronounce my name is not a disruptive act. And that's the rule. That's the excuse that the mayor came up with. Well, you disrupted the meeting. I didn't disrupt any meeting. I just pronounced my name. He just happened to be angry with me about that, so he had a hissy fit. And I mean, I think he's just to be kind. I think he should look into perhaps some difficulties he's having with I don't know, cognition or something. It's just so it's
well, it seems like he was the one being disruptive.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And so it's so illogical that I'm worried about him. And but he's so wrong that we're gonna do everything we can to fight this, because we all have the right to speak, and if we don't stand up to this tyranny now, it'll just get worse. And so it's my duty as a citizen to make sure this goes away, and I'm back in the city hall talking every time I want to, like all of us should be. I mean, I'm not a disruptive person. I didn't break up the meeting. I didn't stop things. I just pronounced my name, you know?
Yes,
and that's part of my mission in life, is to share joy, and like we did today about Dr. Paul, and what I'm continually trying to do.
Well, real briefly, as a friend of yours and myself have told us, these are all too often, unfortunately, servants yearning to be tyrants.
Exactly.
How are we going to change that mindset here in Austin, Texas, and in the greater area of the United States of America come 2011, 2012?
Yeah, that's the key issue, and the way we have to do it is to share the love, share the joy. That's what I try to do. I mean, it's truly the joy of my life that I know about Dr. Paul, and I try to share as much of his wisdom and his leadership on the world stage as I can, because he's the answer. He's the one who's going to stop these idiotic wars, going to help save our country and save our economy, getting back on a sound economics standing with, I don't know, something like gold as a real money, as opposed to this fiat currency that we have that has literally got the whole world in the toilet right now. And people are starting to remember that, by golly, Dr. Paul's been saying we should get off of this treadmill to nowhere for 30 years now. Wow. So the educated people are beginning to understand that Dr. Paul is the way to go. And he's on the ballot. We have to defy the mainstream media's sin of omission, and just, they're never going to give you, they're never going to give me permission to support Dr. Paul. We just have to face that, accept that. They're never going to give him a fair shake. Go forward, work for Dr. Paul. RonPaul2012.com, LewRockwell.com, L-E-W Rockwell. It's a great source of information if you're all curious. Infowars.com is another good one.
We've just got a few seconds left here, Ronnie, but anything else you want to say to the greater populace of Austin, Texas, Travis County, or the United States?
Yes, well, we should just, again, share the joy. It's kind of a rehash of what I said earlier, but we can all, it's a joyful experience to understand about Dr. Paul and see that he's leading the way, that we can hopefully achieve our national greatness that we once had, and it's been thrown away for many decades now. But it's within sight. We have the way in front of us, and share the joy with your friends. RonPaul2012.com. You'll be pleasantly informed.
Thanks, Ronnie. See you next time.
Thank you, Clay.